Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our Let's Play of Roadwarden, the text-based RPG. We just left the Druid to the south of Howler's Dell, and we are making our way north past the altar that we just encountered. And we approach the outskirts of Howler's Dell. Don't really face any sort of danger at all. We do see some beasts off to our west, outside the gates of Howler's Dell, and we make our way closer to the settlement, thinking that at minimum this is a place that we can rest and rejuvenate. We see that there are guards against leaning against the gate, and Bill, as always, with his sixth sense, is kind of wary of our approach to the settlement. So we make our way inside. We push through the guard, or we make our way up to the guard. And he tells us a little bit about what they have to offer here in Howler's Dell. They have plenty of herbs, they have plenty of cloth, a lot of resources, and they seem very self-sufficient. And he goes and checks in with the mayor to see if she's available to talk to us. Comes back, says she's not yet available, she's not ready to talk, but that we can come inside. Okay, so we come inside and we climb up through the watchtower and into Howler's Dell. And I believe this is the largest settlement we've seen so far. As you can see in the artwork here, there's a little island that separates two halves of the city. There is a river that runs through, and there's an inn called the 8 Ale Inn. There's a tailor, there is the innkeep, and then the mayor. Those are the three major NPCs that we're going to meet here in Howler's Dell. The innkeep, and the clothier, and the mayor. Face is her name. And we were told about her from both the inn at the Pelt and from the scavenger. Okay. As we navigate through the city, Bill gets a little hesitant as we walk across the wooden beams, but we make our way to finally run into the mayor. The mayor's interacting with several children of various ages, and I gotta be honest with you, all throughout this episode, we get several indicators that something's a little off. The mayor talks to them like they are her children, and yet we find out that they are orphans. She's very reticent to tell us about her how she got all of her wealth. She's clothed in very luxurious linens and a cloak, and everybody seems to speak to her with reverence and some level of respect. There's just something odd going on here in Howler's Dell. And I think that's going to be one of the things that we're going to have to figure out here. It's not going to happen in this episode, but there's something definitely a little off, especially when we bring up the band of bandits led by Glaucia. She's pretty short on talking about Glaucia. She's pretty short on talking about where she gets her wealth. She does, like everybody else, not really. She does, like everybody else, know of Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. She has a very negative opinion of him in contrast to many of the people we've met so far. And apparently Asterion was tasked with escorting her daughter to be wed, and they were attacked along the road, and Asterion failed to save her. And so in Theus' eyes, Asterion is an outcast. He was not prosecuted for his misdeed, but he was expelled, it seems like, and told that he cannot return. And so again, this is pointing northward, north of Howler's Dell towards the White Marshes. And during our conversation with Theus, she seems incredibly interested in where we're from. She wants to know about us. She wants to know about Ablaven. She wants to figure out what we know, what we don't know. She wants to hear rumors, and that's a part of her quid pro quo. She refuses to aid us in moving towards Glaucia and removing her from power, and or helping us in any other way if we can't build rapport with the rest of the settlement here, and if we can't give her information from other settlements like White Marshes, like the settlement that we started at with the lieutenant and her companion, which we do eventually reveal to her in an effort to kind of see what she can tell us. And so we play our cards pretty close to our chest here. You can see I'm choosing dialogue options that do not reveal too much, that are more general in nature. Yet again, told about the Eastern Path, told to avoid it. And we get told a little bit more about Old Pagos, the Gale Rocks, several of the other settlements that we've yet to visit, but we'll sure to visit in the future. And it seems like every time we ask her about something, she ends by pushing the conversation or changing the topic to something about us. And so, not really, nailing Theus as somebody who can be trusted at this point. She's very deceptive. She's cagey. She's aloof in some ways. She's very guarded. She doesn't have a lot to say that would explain how she has so much wealth. And yes, she's so resistant to our mission to expand for the Merchants Guild into this large settlement. It seems to be doing very well. We're not sure how she got her position, and yet, again, I mentioned earlier, she's like a mother, but she's not really the mother to many of the young people here in Howler's Dell. And again, our task after leaving here is going to be to run the rumor mill and figure out what we can find. So she also offers to increase our bounty for removing the brigands, the journey, the task we were given from the Pelt a couple of episodes ago. We continue to kind of reveal bits and pieces about our past, bits and pieces about Laven, and while we're giving these character choices, and again, I like this a lot, it allows us to kind of dig into the world building and almost form it ourselves, which I think is kind of cool because the different dialogue choices are slightly different in what they describe. So let's see. And the druid, it looks like as I play this back, is called the Beholder. And when we go back there, you guys remind me in the comments, we need to make sure that we call them by their name, the Beholder. I didn't put that in the notes, but I'm gonna need you guys to be my notes for this episode, because I just realized that druid's name is now the Beholder. Again, keeps being dodgy. Look at these options here. Cagey about Asterion, keeps, can we use your horse? Can we use your mule? Can we use your palfrey? When's the last time you were at this bar back in Laven? Again, we get a few more character names here. Agidia, we can ask around about her when we get to other innkeeps, so get a little bit of more backstory about these characters. And this is what you're saying now is her describe how their old Roadwarden Astarion met his exile and was seemingly banished from Howler's Dell. Again, a lot of assumptions about his fate, but unsure. And so, I'm still 50-50 on whether or not we kind of stumble upon him dead somewhere, or we find him, living a different life in a different part of the peninsula here. So, again, asking us about our past, about how long we've lived at Havlaven, and very defensive about her wealth and her background. It's a little it draws a lot of suspicion when somebody is very suspicious about where we're from and what we're doing, and yet fails to reveal too much about themselves. And so there's not kind of an equal exchange of information here. And so we are then tasked with building our rapport with the remaining villagers here. We are eventually going to visit each one of them, the clothier, the tailor, the innkeep, and I believe we were even running into some priests later on to explore the rest of the settlement here, who are not very welcoming at all. So, I'm not really overall getting a great vibe from Howler's Dell. This place that has seemingly a lot of riches and is pretty self-sufficient is not really the happiest place to be, even though it seems to kind of be propping itself up and not needing a lot of help. So, Eric's, I believe, is identified as Theus's husband. So he holds some level of prominence here in the settlement. Doesn't really have a lot of rumors, but he does describe the scavenger here. If you read this paragraph, he's describing the scavenger we met in the ruined village. So, we've got a full stomach. We're pretty well nourished. Our armor's doing pretty well. Our appearance could use some improvements. So when we mouse over it, it kind of informs us that people are unlikely to be of much help to us because we look so downtrodden and dirty. And so that's something we have to fix. We do wash up eventually here. We pay for I don't pay for the bath and dinner, but I figure maybe if I brush my teeth, right? So I buy the teeth cleaning set, and what I like is a nice touch here is they allow us to choose maybe a toothpaste flavor, which is kind of cool. You can choose walnut, apple, oak, willow, or hazelnut. I believe I choose hazelnut. And so I really thought this was a cool extra touch. And it's these things that indie developers do so well, right? Like, they care so much about their product. If for whatever reason there's the small details that they realize are so important and that make their game stand out from the sea of games that mimic each other and are kind of similar in feature set. This is the kind of stuff I feel like sets Roadwarden apart. It's the format of the game, it's the world building, the art style, obviously, and these little special nuggets that we run into as we converse with all the different characters. And so, we continue to exhaust all the dialogue options. We get another quest here to find a potion. This is where I believe I take some additional notes, because I'm told that this potion can be found in 2 different places. So it can be found near Old Pagos, near some mountains, or in a dolmen east of the Pelt of the North, which is the inn that we visited, I believe, in episode 2. So I get a little bit more information. I bargain for perhaps a better reward, but get turned down there. And so I decided to just take the quest, see what I can do, build a rapport. Who knows? Maybe Howler's Dell will turn into a place that I enjoy coming back to. But so far, a lot of negativity from all the residents here in terms of how I'm being treated. But maybe they're cagey for a reason, right? Maybe even if Theus is somebody that can be trusted, there's a history here somewhere, and we're an outsider, and even if we're the Roadwarden, we're the new Roadwarden. They definitely don't have great experiences with the previous Roadwarden, and so it makes sense why the people of Howler's Dell are not crazy to welcome us into their settlement. So we run up to this tree here. This is what I was talking about earlier. These priests were not happy to talk to us, right? They're anti-organized religion, it sounded like, because they didn't have anything nice to say about the United Church. We finally visited the tailor. He suggests that we should repair or improve our gambeson, but we cannot we can't afford it. We can't afford it. So we're too broke right now. We haven't figured out the economy loop yet. And as you can see, that's going to cost us 25, 30, 35 currency there, and we can't afford that. So we were told we have to come back to the village to talk to the scavenger. As we cleared the road, we saw that there were no obstacles, and yet I think we either came at the wrong time or we forgot something, because when we come back here, you'll notice we can't leave the village. We retrieve our fish. We left that fish trap in the creek off to the on the right side of the village you see here, and we do get 2 fish. However, we can't progress on this particular quest. We'll have to wait for another episode here. We can only wait in small increments. At the same time, we're using up our vitality, and we're going to come to find that we need a certain amount of vitality to move. And so we get back to the pelt, actually, and discover that since we have some more people's names, we start asking questions to get a little bit more context about face. Again, rich from birth, but some questions about how she runs her village. Eric's is where we find out that he's Theus' husband, and he doesn't have anything particular. Again, if I would have said the beholder there, I bet I would have gotten some unique dialogue, but I choose instead to try to figure out the sleep mechanic. So I'm using up some of my nourishment by going to sleep here, I guess, because my stomach, I digest my food, I guess, is the impression here. I sleep overnight. This was pretty fitting. There's a screen here that pops up when you're resting. There's things that can happen overnight. So a beast tries to climb over the gate, and we wake up thinking like, hey, let's go help. And the guards say, no, it's no problem for us. We got it. And they tell us off. So the beast ends up running off. So we go back to the ruins, and again, it's not the right time to leave. It's not, I haven't timed this right. We did get some fish. It looks like they have to be cooked, or we just can't eat them at this point. We do end up trading those fish back in Howler's Dell, and so we do gain a little bit of rapport from using these fish. I do like that we can put the fish trap back and continue to gather fish. So I wonder if that's something that could be a recurring reward for us as we progress through the game. So again, a lot of progression here in terms of moving the story forward. We find out a lot more about Asterion. We have this new character in the form of Mayor Theus, who is incredibly suspicious, not very forthcoming with information, very suspicious of us, and very sarcastic. He's got some weird dynamic with the rest of the villagers here. We're unable to progress with the scavenger storyline yet because we need more nourishment and vitality to make the journey eastwards. And we get another quest to help a local citizen find a husband, and that's going to be a quest for a future episode. But there's a lot going on now, so the game's really opened up quite a bit here. We have to go back to the druid, talk to him. I believe he's called the Beholder. We need to make sure we have enough energy to move forward with the scavenger quest and take him eastward towards the Pale Inn, or the Pelt Inn, sorry. And we need to move north to pursue the bandits in Glaucia and find out more about Asterion. And so we go ahead and rest here a few times just to see if we can renew our vitality enough to make this journey. But I think we're gonna need a full heart of vitality to both make it back to the ruined village and then make it further east towards the Pelt Inn. I like this little bit of a reprieve here. We get a chance to talk to some of the kids where we tell them some of the stories about the adventures we've been through. Again, a nice little touch. It's not the golden path, but it builds a sense of world building and community here in Howler's Dell. And so not all bad, right? Not all bad. There's a silver lining here. Seems like the kids are innocent enough, though they rise up and kill us because they listen to Face, but who knows, maybe that's not going to happen. And so we go back to Face and don't find out much more. I take that back. We were talking to Eric's. Who equally is cagey about some things, right? Not as forthcoming. Everybody's a little guarded here. I think everybody's kind of scratching each other's back. And so we have a lot to go on here. We need to prepare for quite a few different journeys. Heading north, heading back east, heading back south, and we move back down to talk to this unwed woman who works here in Howler's Dell, and still can't find her a suitor, but that's a work in progress. This is a 90-day fiance type situation. So we make it through several different dialogue options. We sleep, try to rejuvenate a little bit at the cost of our appearance. We go again to help during the night. Something happens. We sacrifice a bit of sleep to help take care of something here, and we join in and gain a little bit of rapport here. So we you saw there in the dialogue, it seems like we feel like we belong here now. So ending on a pretty strong note there, considering all the things we had to go through with Face. Guys, if you've got any tips, if you've got any hints that are going to be spoilery, leave them in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to be notified when the next episode goes up. I appreciate you for watching. I'm hoping the next several episodes will not be as long. It's hard to contextualize everything that happens in 30 minutes, and we were hopping through several different dialogue loops here, so I know it was hard to keep up with, but I did my best to try to summarize everything. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and I hope you guys have a great one.